So what year did America stop being racist to black people? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So I say that I believe that America is the greatest country on the face of this planet, probably one of the greatest countries that's ever lived, in spite of its flaws. And of course, America has many flaws. Every country has its flaws. No doubt about that, but there's no flaw in America that we can't overcome. And I have to say the majority of our flaws, a good bit of our flaws today, is surrounded by wokism. Wokism is creating a lot of flaws and a lot of decline in society. Like I said, regardless, America is a great place to live for everybody. And I always say that when it comes down to, for some black people, crying about racism. Yeah, America used to be bad for blacks. No doubt about that. We can all agree on that. But today it's not. There's no job, there's no income. I always say there's no lifestyle, no career path, no university, no field of study that a black person cannot participate in this country for being black. And it goes for everybody. But when you say that, the black people, the pro-blacks, the black victims, they'll come out and say, well, what year did this happen? What year exactly did America stop being racist to black people? And to that, my response is always, well, America's a great country today, in 2025, because all you can really truly deal with the year that you're living with. The only year that you can do anything about is the year that you're currently living in, and that's 2025. 2025, America's great for black people, it's great for everybody. As I said, a black person is not being denied participation in anything in America today. But that's a good question, though, is like, what exactly year was it? And I would have to say the year that black folks were no longer barred from participating in anything. That was the year America stopped being racist to black people. So I would say, well, then let's backtrack in the timeline, let's say by decade, to see when America really truly was stopped being racist, right? So let's start with the 2000s. Since the year 2000 to 2025, have black people in America been barred from participating in anything in America? Well, the answer to that question is no. Absolutely not. So at least we know since the year 2020, black folks are not barred from participating in anything in America. Till today. So that's 5 years, but 5 years where black folks wasn't barred from participating in anything. Okay, so let's go back another decade. Let's go back another decade. So from 2010 to 2019, were black people barred from participating in any sector of society in this country? Well, the answer to that question is no. So black people were not barred from participating in anything in this country in that year. Okay, well, let's go back another 10 years. Like from the year 2000 to 2009, were blacks barred from participating in any sector of society of America? Well, the answer to that question is B, no. So black folks were not so America wasn't a racist country in that time frame. And unless anyone can prove to me that it's some area of society that black folks was barred from participating in for just simply being black, not because of behavior, but just because of skin shade, and nobody can do that. Okay, well, let's go back another 10 years. So from the year 1990 to 1999, were black people barred from participating in anything in America? No. There was nothing in this country that black people were barred from participating in that time frame. As I said, there was no university, there was no field of study, there was no career path that a black person was denied access to in that time period. So black people, America wasn't racist for blacks in that time period. Okay, well, we can go back a decade earlier. From 1980 to 1989, was America a racist country for black people? Well, now you're starting to get a little bit murky here because you started encroaching upon my child years. But, as far back as I can remember, because in 1980, I was 7. So as far back as I can remember, I don't know anything anybody was barred from participating in. But I can tell you toward the the tail end of the 1980s, and no black person was held back from participating in anything. And if anybody have any evidence, then please bring it forward. But somebody please name me the area of study, anything that a black person couldn't do in this country by simply because they were black. And then if we want to go back a decade earlier, from 1970 to 1979, again, this is when I was really in the childhood and when the decade I was born, so I can't really speak on that. Well, so we had to go to the older generation. So the older generation, hey, what was a black person born from and denied from participating in? And we work our way back until we come to the year in which black people were barred from participating fully in society, and that would be the year that America stopped being racist. But then now you're starting to go 50 and 60 years in the past now. That's not stopping black people today. Regardless, in the United States of America today, it's a great country for everybody, and constantly living in the past, and as I say, always using the past to fuel your race anger today is not going to change that. And again, we say this all the time, and we repeat this. Yes, there was a point in time in which America was bad for black people, in which black people were oppressed, were denied access to things. That's not the case anymore. And if you want to go run back 50, 60 years to find a time when black people were and spend all your time and energy living in the past, well, that's on you. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on this. We really don't know when America stopped being a racist country, but we know it hasn't been a racist country in a long time, and that's no excuse today. And it's always, until next time.